Hey friends, we cover many end-to-end testing and synthetic monitoring essentials here on Checkly's YouTube channel. But many people ask me if we could get into more specifics, such as covering and monitoring authentication and logging flows. And I thought that's a good idea, so let's start and look into how to monitor your login flows with Checkly and Playwright. Let's go. If you don't know Checkly yet, we are huge believers in synthetic monitoring and enable you to use Microsoft's Playwright and Headless Chrome to test all your business-critical user flows from around the world on a schedule and get alerted when things are not working properly. So you're the first one to know when things broke. And on top of that, Checkly provides you a web app that allows you to dig deeper into your monitoring results, see how API responses or Playwright checks evolve over time. And of course, you have to log into this one too. So let's monitor our own Checkly web app with Checkly. We are here on checklihq.com, and if we want to log into the web app, we have to press the login link. I have to provide my email address. Let me do that very quickly, paste in a password, hit login, and now we are in the Checkly application that provides a whole lot of monitoring results because we use Checkly at Checkly quite a little bit. So how could we get started monitoring this very business critical user flow with Playwright and synthetic monitoring? When I head over to my editor, I already have here a login spec.ts file that includes a single test case that is called log into Checkly. And the project here overall is a JavaScript project that includes the Checkly CLI and Playwright test as a dependency so that I can use Playwright to run and create my tests locally. And then when I want to transform them to global monitoring, I can push them to the Checkly infrastructure to run them on a schedule with a single command. But now that Checkly so tightly integrates with Microsoft's Playwright, how could you create your first Playwright test if you haven't used Playwright before? Luckily, Playwright comes with the killer feature for that, which is called code generation, or in short, codegen. And if you have Playwright installed locally, like I do right now, you can go to your terminal and you can call npx playwright codegen. And this now opens up two windows that I have to move in here. So it's one browser window and it's the Playwright inspector. But the catch here right now is that the Playwright inspector is running in recording mode. So all I have to do now is I can go here to the URL bar. I can say that I want to go to www.checklihq.com. I can press the login link and you see here that it's recording on the right side. So now I can give in my email address, checklihq.com. I will paste my password and don't worry, I will change it before I publish this video. Now I can hit login and now we entered the web app and let's get rid of this range here. And all I want to check now is that this table that includes all the monitoring results is rendered and is visible. So let me look around a little bit. I know that there's a test ID available, which is this one because we're testing this ourselves. So now what I have here is my first Playwright test. So I can really copy this one. I can go back to my session here. I can remove this one. And when I now go to this spec file that I already have here, let me just paste what we got here. So we have here the new test case. Let me change the first line, do it like this. And congratulations, we just recorded our login authentication end-to-end test with Playwright. So let's inspect what we got now from Playwright codegen. So we're navigating to checklihq.com. This looks good. Then we're waiting for a new tab or a new pop-up to appear. Then we press the login link and then we wait until this promise here is resolved. We are clicking on this input element with the placeholder yours at example.com. I think we can remove this one. We can fill this element instead. We will remove the pressing of the tab key. Here we have my password that I'm leaking here right now. Don't tell anyone. And then we're pressing login. I don't care about the survey in this example. And here we have the locator that is locating our home dashboard table that has a test ID. And currently we're clicking on it. I don't want to do this. What I want to do instead, I want to use a web first assertion and I want to say that I expect this element to be visible instead. So this is a nice and fun assertion here. And I'm also not very happy with all the naming here. So let's do some changes. So I think that page 1 promise should be maybe login page promise. And then the all pages 1 here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's call them login page. So with that, we now just created our end-to-end test that covers the Checkly login experience. Now that I have here this test case, it includes a test only, which means when I now go to the terminal and I run this end-to-end test, I can do npx playwright test, and let's use the headed flag. And now we are spinning up Chrome and we see that it is logging into Checkly. It is filling out the credentials. And now we just created a successful end-to-end test for the Checkly web app login. And that's already pretty cool because you could now put this end-to-end test into your CI/CD pipeline and check on every pull request with Playwright if your code changes are breaking anything in your code base. But if you're like me, that is not enough to really feel safe that all user-critical flows are working in production. Maybe your hosting provider goes down. Maybe someone misconfigures your third-party provider. Maybe. To be really certain that everything works, you have to bet on synthetic monitoring and check all these flows on a schedule. And this is where the Checkly CLI comes in. With the Checkly CLI, we can take this Playwright test and push it to the Checkly infrastructure to then automatically run it on a schedule and get alerted when things go down. So how could we do this? Before we push it to the Checkly cloud, I would like to clean up this test a little bit and get rid of these hard-coded credentials that I have currently in my test case. And for that, I will leverage good old environment variables, and I will say process env. And here we want to have the, let me check my env file, how it's called. It's user and password. So to fill this input field, we want to use user, and I will make TypeScript happy here as string. And the password will then be, let's do the same thing, process env pw, and also as string. So here we go. So let me load in my env file. Let's run the Playwright test again to see if it's still working. Here we have the test case. It is filling out the login flow, and here we go. That looks good. So now we're ready to run this exact Playwright test case in the Checkly infrastructure. But now that we changed things to use process env and environment variables, we can use, first of all, the Checkly CLI to check if there are these variables available in the Checkly infrastructure. So when we call npx checkly env ls, we see that there's currently only one environment variable available. Luckily, we can go to the terminal again and we can say npx checkly env add. And now let's say pw and get this string from here. So it's my hidden password. Let's do it like this. So now we added this one, sweet, and the other one was called, let's double check again, user, and it's my email address. So let's close this. So it is user, and let's get rid of this one. So now we equipped the Checkly cloud and my Checkly account with these two environment variables. And now we can make the magic happen. We can say npx checkly test, and I'm defining that I want to run the login file test that is defined in login spec.ts. And when we now run it, this will now run our Playwright test that we just have seen locally testing our login flow in the Checkly infrastructure. And it is now running in Checkly. And let's give it a moment. And here we go. We just had a passing Playwright test running on Checkly. And you might now say, cool, but what's the deal? You can also run your Playwright tests locally, you can run them in CI/CD. Why should you use now Checkly? The cool thing is now, let me go to my other Checkly account, which I have here. So here we have my monitoring as code Checkly account, and you see here already that there are 3 checks running on a schedule. And here we have a Playwright check. And the cool thing now is that we can run our Playwright tests from the command line using Checkly tests. And now we can go to the terminal and we can say npx checkly deploy. And we can run this one. It's parsing our code base. Let's deploy that. And here we go. And now when we do a refresh here, we see that we have here now my Playwright test. And this is now coming with all the synthetic monitoring goodies. The Playwright test covering my logging flow is now running every 10 minutes. It runs from multiple locations that are configurable. It will send me an SMS, a PagerDuty alert, whatever I want to get notified when things go down. And of course, now that this check here, this Playwright test is running on a schedule, we keep the results. And if you value performance statistics or want to notice how your Playwright tests evolve over time, you can access all this information right from the Checkly dashboard. And I'm kind of a data nerd. I like to look at these things. But the magic for me really is that with the combination of Playwright and Checkly, I was able to record user and business critical flows, test them automatically end-to-end with a headless browser to then just fire off a few commands to run synthetic monitoring and guarantee and be certain that my login flow of the Checkly web app is working from anywhere and anytime. And I think that's pretty cool. So that was the Checkly hands-on for today. We end-to-end tested our own login flow and we enabled synthetic monitoring to be certain that it works at any time. If you have any questions or want to see other flows covered here on YouTube, drop a question below or leave a comment. And if you want to get in touch with the Checkly crew, join our Checkly community Slack. We are a lovely bunch, I promise, and I will talk to you very soon again.